Cavite has a good number of intact heritage churches, and one of these is the St. Mary Magdalene Church here in Kawit, Cavite. So it was the first time that I will visit some of the Baroque churches here in the Philippines. In 1737, the cornerstones of the present church were placed and the construction of the stone church began. The Church of St. Mary Magdalene is the parish church of the municipality of Kawit in the province of Cavite. First built made of wood in 1638, it is considered as one of the oldest churches in the Philippines. The roof of the church were destroyed by a strong typhoon in 1831. The construction of the current church started in 1737 and was restored in 1990. Located a few meters away from the mansion of General Emilio Aguinaldo, this is the church where the President of the First Philippine Republic was baptized in 1869. The 2M there signifies Mary Magdalene, the patroness of the church. That's the bell tower of St. Mary. The St. Mary was declared the historical structure of the Philippines and a marker was placed by the National Institute, or the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. This is the side door on the western side of the church. This is the thick buttresses of the church, typically of earthquake Baroque architecture. These stones are 370 years old. This is the side door near the back of the church. Now let's go inside. Come on. This is the holy water font by the entrance. Next. So this is the miraculous life size of their patron, Saint Mary Magdalene. You can see in the middle of her forehead. It resembles a mole and no living local in Kawit knows why the statue has such a mark. Speculation suggests that this is the symbolic mark of Jesus' fingertip during the resurrection when he had appeared to Magdalene and said Noli me tangere, which means touch me not. Some suggest that this mark is to clearly distinguish her identity from the Virgin Mary. So now we're on our way to Capital. Quiapo Church is one of Manila's most famous churches. It is also known as the Church of the Black Nazarene, and sometimes referred to as the Minor Basilica of the Black Nazarene. It is located in Quiapo, Manila. The church houses a large black wooden statue of Christ bearing the cross. According to historical records, Quiapo Church was founded in 1856 by Franciscan missionaries, headed by Pedro Bautista. It was originally constructed of bamboo and nipa. The present cream-colored edifice was the result of the reconstruction that took 3 decades to complete. The church suffered 2 natural calamities, a fire in 1639 and an earthquake in 1863. But the Franciscans built the first church, but seculars handled the repairs and rebuilding of the succeeding structures. On Fridays, thousands of Catholic devotees may be seen inside the church, edging forward on their knees towards the crucifix to light a candle in supplication to the Black Nazarene. Every January 9, devotees flock to Quiapo in hopes of touching the life-size statue of the Black Nazarene, who is believed to have inexplicable and miraculous power. Some people have claimed that the reason of the Black Nazarene is so popular with the Filipinos is because it was the first religious image to which Filipinos could relate, owing to its dark skin tone. Regardless of the reason for its popularity, the Black Nazarene continues to be a beacon of hope for people who want to receive absolution for their sins. The facade of the church is characterized by balance and symmetry. The central facade is marked by a portico chair. This contains life-size saints. The first story is divided into vertical panels. The main portal can be found at the center of the panels. The second story has flat expanded walls and regular alternation of high relief rounded. A tall trefoil arched doorway is at the center of the saint's niche flanking it. On top of the facade is an oval painting of the Black Nazarene. On each side of the central facade are the bell towers that are 4 stories high. The Redemptorists brought the picture of the Mother of Perpetual Help to the Philippines in 1906. 40 years later, the Redemptorists introduced the Perpetual Novena to the nation. The honor of conducting the first Perpetual Novena in the Philippines goes not to Baclaran, but to the Iloilo community in May 1946 in the Redemptorist Church of St. Clement. The increasing attendance of the devotees forced the Redemptorists to consider a more spacious church. Father Luis Oleari, superior at the time, assumed management of the massive construction. The bulk of the money that financed the building came from the small offerings of the ordinary people. This is why it took 6 years to complete the construction of the church. When the money ran out, the construction was suspended. When more money came in, the work began again. The old church continued in use as the new rose over it. The novena continued as usual. The church architecture is described as the modern Romanesque. Cesar Concho, its architect, and Jesse Bontoc, his associate, had planned a higher church with a bell tower. But because of its proximity to the airport, civil aeronautic regulations prevented them from carrying out their plan in full. Baclaran Church, a place where accepted values are overturned. When we gather in the shrine of our Mother in Baclaran, we gather in a privileged place at a privileged moment. We gather at an evidently holy place. Without such spectacular events, Baclaran must appear as an ordinary place. And yet, over the past 50 years, millions of people have made their way to this once ordinary place to be blessed with extraordinary favors. There is no other explanation for the drawing power of Baclaran than that it is a chosen place to pray and sit and pray. Unlike the other great Marian shrines around the world, like Fatima and Guadalupe, and other shrines which take their origin from an apparition of the Virgin, Baclaran has only itself to thank for its special, even unique place amongst famous Marian shrines. Experts in the field of religious sociology, of cultural anthropology, in popular religiosity have tried to hit upon a definitive answer to the question, but an answer continues to elude them. When we look closely, we can see that Baclaran is a place where accepted values are overturned. Baclaran is a place where sickness is looked on with respect. The sick and the handicapped are treated in Baclaran as its most treasured pilgrims. No one in Baclaran is judged on outward appearances. A holy shrine welcomes humble sinners. In a world full of self-confidence, those who are troubled, who are anxious, are accepted and recognized really as pilgrims. All of us on the same path towards an acceptance of that joyful hope to which we are called. These churches have been at the forefront of Philippine history, not just in furthering Christianity in the archipelago, but in serving as the political backbone of Spanish colonial rule, when church and state were regarded as one. The unique architecture of the churches didn't just reflect the adaptation of Spanish and Latin American architecture to the local environment, but also of the church's political influence.
Go! Ay, ulit! Punyet. Kanina. Go! Ay, ulit! Punyet. 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 Kanina. Punyet.